What's the dumbest way a company drove away their best employees? I once worked for a company that worshipped overwork. It wasn't about results. It was about how exhausted you looked. The CEO, directors, and even the owner bragged about sleeping only a few hours a night. Some even joked they needed a drink before bed just to stop thinking about work. It was a twisted kind of pride that trickled down to everyone. I was caught up in it too. 12-hour days, long commutes, unpaid overtime, all for a salary that didn't even match the market average. But I was young and eager, and I loved what I did. The company had a strong reputation in my country, and I convinced myself the experience would pay off later. 8 months in, I hit a wall. I'd stopped exercising. I was gaining weight, and my mind wouldn't stop racing. I'd wake up at 4 in the morning thinking about tasks I hadn't finished. My body was falling apart, and so was my motivation. So I decided to quit. When I handed in my resignation, the CEO asked to meet me. My director sat beside him. The CEO asked why I was leaving, and I told him the truth. I was burned out, and our department was drowning in work. I said if they wanted me to stay, they needed to hire more people, and I needed to start 1 hour later so I could take a morning walk. To my surprise, he agreed. He promised to get 2 new hires and said HR would post the openings right away. I left that meeting feeling like maybe things were finally turning around. While my director was away on vacation, things actually did improve. I started an hour later, ignored the side eyes from my coworkers, and even felt human again. HR interviewed candidates, and soon 2 new people joined the team. I thought maybe I'd made it through the worst. Then my director came back. On her second day, she called me into her office. "You can't be arriving late anymore," she said. I reminded her the CEO had approved my new schedule. She frowned. "You can't start later than everyone else. We're too busy right now. Either go back to normal hours or quit." I think she expected me to panic. We had huge projects lined up for the company's IPO, and she probably thought I'd never risk leaving at such a critical time, but I was done. I looked her in the eye and said, "Okay then, I quit." In my country, notice periods are usually a month, unless the company asks you to leave early and still pays you. The next day, one of the 2 new hires quit, saying it was way too much work. I saw my director on the phone with HR, whispering and glancing at me. I'm certain she was trying to cancel my notice and send me home early, but she couldn't afford to lose another person, so I stayed. I kept things professional and did my job while secretly preparing for interviews elsewhere. HR brought in a replacement for me. She quit within a week. The second new hire also left. Then another replacement joined, but he gave up after just 1 day. The office was turning into a revolving door, and my director was getting desperate. Around that time, I had a great interview during my lunch break. I could tell they were serious about hiring me. A few days later, my director's attitude suddenly changed. She went from ignoring me to being overly friendly. She even stopped others from making comments about me leaving. I didn't need to guess why. HR had probably told her the new company called for a reference. By my final week, she called me into her office again. "Maybe we both overreacted," she said, forcing a smile. "If you shorten your lunch by 30 minutes, you can start 30 minutes later. Let's just forget the resignation and move forward." I told her I'd think about it, but only if she matched my new offer, added 10%, and put everything in writing before the end of the day. I also wanted my original 1 hour later start time back. Her smile vanished. She accused me of being ungrateful, of betraying the company, of wasting an opportunity. "Why would you even think of quitting?" she finally snapped. I smiled. "Because it was your idea," I said. "You told me the deal was off, and if I didn't like it, I should quit." So I did. Her face went blank. During my last few days, I trained another replacement. She seemed capable, but she quit after 2 weeks. The 2 extra hires for our department never happened because upper management decided to cut costs before the IPO. Within 2 months, everyone from my old team was gone, except my director. She stayed, running what was left of the department alone. Before I left, the CEO stopped by to say he was sorry to see me go. He said he'd been trying to convince the owner to change the company's work culture, but the owner wouldn't hear it. I just nodded. I was already focused on my new job, a place that valued balance, not burnout. And every time I think about that director, I remember the day she said, "If you don't like it, just quit." So I did, and I never looked back.